All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 16th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, on Monday afternoons, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by my co-host on Monday and Tuesdays, Mr. Big Marcel. What's going on, man? How's it going? How's your weekend?
Weekend was okay, man. I have to go back to work tomorrow, so not that happy with that. I don't have anything against my work, but it's great to have some time off. But yeah, for all the other things, all good. How about you, man? How was your first week as a dad
Yeah, it's actually
going?
almost tomorrow's 2 weeks, which is crazy,
Yeah,
right? Like it's been going by fast. It's been really good, man. Thanks for asking. It's like my life feels more complete now, honestly. It's like I have like something else to be motivated about, which is good. You know what I mean? So it's great, man. Now she's opening her eyes a little bit more and stuff too, which is awesome, Marcel. So soon she'll be able to see that giant teddy bear that her uncle Big Marcel bought her. The big teddy bear from Big Marcel. I appreciate that. But no, it's been good, man. And it's just like it makes the whole family happy. You know what I mean? Like my family's like my parents are happy, her parents are happy. You know what I mean? Like it's a baby, right? So it's good.
yeah.
But otherwise, man, like I kind of relaxed. I did catch up a little bit of the MMA. I didn't watch the whole cards, but I caught up on them afterwards. It was nice to have a weekend off of UFC. I did miss it on Saturday. I'll be honest with you, I did miss it. But it is nice to have a week off once in a while too, just to recharge the batteries and stuff. So what do you think? Did you miss it on Saturday or no?
I mean, definitely for you right now as well, with your daughter being born like 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's awesome to have a UFC week off for you. So, for me, I did watch CFFC and I did watch that serious MMA where Ryan Burgos, the brother of Shane, had the second fight, amateur fight.
Yeah.
So I
Did he
watched.
win? He won, right?
Yeah, he won. There was something he won via guillotine choke, and
Okay.
after the fight, somebody climbed climbed to the cage and wanted to say something to him, not so friendly, but Ryan didn't really care. He walked away, but at the same moment, he was pointing at his family, and his family was like in the first row. So the dude was like talking shit and all, and the family went after him, and then you saw Shane hopping to the guy as well, and then the security kept the guy away. So probably did the guy a favor there.
That's interesting. Jamie, hey guys, congrats on the kid, Adam. Thanks so much, Jamie. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy 2 weeks, but like I said, it's great. I honestly, Marcel, it's like I can't remember what it was like now having a kid now. You know what I mean? It's like I'm used to it
Mhm.
already. So it's gonna be a crazy adventure. Anyways, we got a lot of MMA to talk about today. So
Yeah.
we'll be recapping, like I said, the events of the weekend, and we'll talk about like some fight announcements, some news and stuff. The breakdown for UFC Vegas 34 is tomorrow. That's tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I know people are going to probably ask us who we were picking in the main event. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow. We're not giving out any picks for that card until tomorrow, right, Marcel? That's the deal, okay? But we can talk about anything else today, okay? Including Bellator 264. I think we should start there. So, I mean, I think we both called it. We both said Gegard Mousasi was going to finish this fight, Marcel. I felt pretty confident he was going to win. I felt like he was going to finish John Salter, who's a good fighter, and he was controlling Mousasi a little bit with the grappling in the early going of the fight, Marcel, but the further the fight went on, he definitely got tired. Mousasi, once he got in top land, the nasty ground and pound. Mousasi is a very underrated finisher from top position, like with the ground and pound. The fight with Thiago Santos, which is brutal. I want to say it was maybe Uriah Hall, the second one. And obviously Rory MacDonald, too. Like, if he gets on top of you, Marcel, like, you're in trouble against this guy. So John Salter found that out in the hard way by getting stopped in the third round. Any thoughts on Gegard Mousasi's performance here?
Fight went pretty much like I told you, man. It's like Gegard's only weakness in this game is his takedown defense, and he got taken down in the
Mm-hmm.
first round, and he had trouble getting up. But Salter didn't do a lot there. But you saw as longer the fight went, and you saw that against Costello and Stevens as well with Salter back then. Salter gets tired. And the moment Salter got tired, he couldn't take Mousasi down anymore, and Mousasi knew it was his fight.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Mousasi, man. Mousasi has good cardio, and he can take over. But the problem with Mousasi is, for example, with a guy with Lovato will keep coming. I will try to get you down for 5 rounds. If you don't finish him, he will get a takedown almost every round. So Mousasi gives away too easy those takedowns. But besides that, that's his only weak point, I think, in this game, because he has a good ground game. He has a good, phenomenal stand-up game.
Yeah.
Very complete fighter overall. So it will be very tough for somebody to take his belt. I think, again, if he loses his belt, it will be to a wrestler again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about Austin Vander for one
Yeah.
second. I just want to say, I think Mousasi really is one of the best fighters ever. I really do think that. He's fought for so many different organizations: Pride, Strikeforce, UFC, Dream, now Bellator, obviously.
Cage Warriors.
Yeah, Cage Warriors too. I mean, he's fought in all the big promotions. Like it's pretty nuts, right? M1 is another one. Bodog Fight. It's incredible, actually. Like Too Hot to Handle. That's an old promotion in Netherlands. So I'm just looking at it. It's just amazing. Like, I mean, I remember him from Pride too, because I watched the DVDs back in the day and stuff. And also from Dream, because I used to have HDNet back in the day. HDNet was great for MMA. It was awesome. And they used to play all of his fights in Dream. So that's kind of when I became a big fan of him. Always been a fan of the guy. Now he's fighting Austin Vanderford, who's a wrestler. That's why I was going to ask you. Do you think Vanderford has a chance in this fight? I'm asking for a prediction, but I'm assuming Mousasi is going to be a pretty heavy favorite in the fight. I would assume.
The thing is, Vanderford best win is against Fabian Edwards, I think. And Fabian Edwards is a guy who is kind of, for me, the opposite of his brother, man. Fabian Edwards is really more stand-up guy, and Leon can wrestle heavy as well, And the thing is, for Austin, it was listen, man, we both called it that Austin would take him down and probably will win the fight by decision. With Mousasi, it's 5 rounds. Listen, if Austin can keep him down and get him down, he has a chance. But if he can't do that for 5 rounds, he will probably be in trouble, And I still think Vandervoort is a great prospect, a very good fighter. And I think, like I said, after the fight with Mousasi when it gets on, I actually love the fight, man, because Austin gets his chance, and Mousasi can show that his wrestling is getting better the whole time still, And the thing is, I still think Austin doesn't get the credits he deserves.
Doesn't.
People still call him Mr. Van Zandt. And listen, man, it was fun when he wasn't a top level fighter yet, But he is actually a better fighter than Page ever was, in my opinion, So I gotta give the guy credit, man.
I think Vanderford's pretty good, man, for sure. Yeah. He's undefeated. He really should be in the UFC. We talked about this before. Like, I still don't know why he didn't get signed. It's really bizarre. I still think it's because of the thing with Paige, knowing she was probably going to leave. That's what I think it's all about. That relationship.
How stupid is that, man? You really, and it happens often, man. I mean, we're going to talk about matchups as well later on the show. We can talk about it because there is a matchup announced this week. A guy signed 4-2 or 3-1 or whatever, and we know why. And it just doesn't make sense.
About it. Yeah, I know the fight you're talking about. We'll talk about that. Anyways, let's talk about some other fights in this card. Co-main event, Andrey Koreshkov. I mean, did what he expected to do against Sabah Homasi. Didn't finish the fight, but still won a decision. I don't know, like, how far away do you think he is from getting another title shot? He's obviously a former champ. He does have a win over Lima back in the day. I mean, he did have his last fight in Russia. He comes back to Bellator, gets a win now. Marcel, what do you think, man?
He knocks out Homasi in the first round. He's totally back. He wins a decision over Homasi. He will have to fight some more, and he's not even in the rankings at this moment. So he will definitely be back in the rankings with this win, I think. But he didn't show something that we are like, wow, he's back. He clearly won the fight, in my opinion, but it wasn't like it wasn't a wow factor. The wow factor was the fight before.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll. What, you think it's just going to be the winner of MVP and Lima too? Do you think that, or am I forgetting? Or Jason Jackson would be the other guy, right? He's the other welterweight contender, I guess. Right now,
I think Jason Jackson should be next, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what Bellator wants with Jason Jackson at this moment, but I think he should be next. He won against Paul Daly last time.
Yep.
Yeah, why not, man? He also Neiman Gracie, right? Before that. So, yeah, why not? What's the holdup with that? I don't know.
I agree. Let me get these comments from you guys. Ryan says, Austin's a great wrestler. Striking seems limited. I think he'll be danger on the feet. No doubt. I mean, I think anyone fighting Mousasi in the stand-up is in big trouble. I mean, I know that Uriah Hall knocked him out, but there was kind of a fluky win the first one. It was pretty fluky, to be honest here. I mean, the guy's got really good just defense on the feet. That's the only time he's ever been finished with strikes, too. That's crazy, eh? That was I still remember that fight. I couldn't believe that happened. That was unreal.
He pretty much won the first round 10-8, and then
I just got flying knee. It was crazy.
He went kind of for a takedown, right? And then Uriah did that.
Jumping knee, and then he finished him off. It was unbelievable. Great finish. Jamie says, "Look at this. I love the picture. It's Hasbullah. Martin said no, coming dominate UFC welterweight division. Now we'll talk about it in a bit. I mean, listen, I don't think you can just base fighters off of records, but at the same time, that guy's 500s in the UFC probably didn't deserve it. It's like when Marcos Mariano got in. That guy was Anderson Silva's friend. It was very similar. To me, it's the same thing.
No disrespect to the guy, but if you haven't fought for 4 years and you haven't won for 7 years or something, I mean,
He does have a submission win over Jeff Neal on his record, but this is the only guy to submit Jeff Neal. I don't think the guy should be in the UFC. Anyways, we'll talk about that fight later. So this was an upset here. Raufeon Stots defeating Magomedov, and we both said the odds should have been closer, but we did both pick Magomedov. So I'm not going to go and say like I'm a genius predicting the upset. I thought the odds were a little bit wide because Raufeon Stots is good and he matched up well. There was one guy in the chat last week, Zach. I think he said I think he made some money on Stots, so that's nice to see. Yeah, Marcel, he won the fight. You think he gets a title shot? Like, what do you think they're going to do? Because they're talking about a tournament now, 135. So what do you think's going to happen here?
I was kind of disappointed, man, with what Stott said afterwards, man. It was kind of, in my opinion, he was backtracking and fighting his teammate Sergio Pettis with, let's do the bantamweight tournament. I was like, dude, you are now in the spot to ask for a title shot because it's a clear number one contender to me. And then you want to do a bantamweight tournament for 16 people, for example. You can lose in that tournament. You're not the title holder. You're not the champion. You know what I mean? So that would mean, for example, that he maybe can fight Sergio Pettis. And let's say if it went so far in the final, that means he got to beat 3 other guys before. And maybe he can rematch Magomedov. And then he maybe loses to Magomedov. So it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, for me as a fan, I would love to see a bantamweight Grand Prix, don't get me wrong, but for him to say let's do a bantamweight Grand Prix and let's see that's just weird to me. If you don't want to fight your teammate, okay, I can understand that before a title.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that's the one time that I think a lot of fighters have said, well, I'll fight my teammate if it's for a belt. A lot of guys, American top team fighters, guys at TriStar in the past.
I know, for example, Vicente Luque and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, they said
but their coach Henry Hooft had recently had an interview with Dennis Corman, which is a Dutch guy, and he told them if they have to fight for a title, they will fight each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're literally best friends, I think. And I think they're like, I want to say like Luque's like, or one of the two is like the godfather of one of their daughters, if I'm not mistaken. Like they're very close friends.
Yeah, very close.
And both amazing fighters too. All right, this guy Everett Cummings, Marcel, gets destroyed in about 21 seconds here against David Franklin. I think we both saw that one coming. This guy Cummings, he had this 15-0 record. Me and Marcel never heard of this guy. No one's ever heard of this guy. Where'd they find this guy? And he gets dropped in 21 seconds. I mean, does this guy even get invited back to Bellator? I don't think so, right?
Nah, me neither, man. But we pretty much saw this one coming, man. Davion Franklin is a guy they want to build, and he's a talented guy. And Everett Cummings, listen, man, there's something really weird if you're 15 and know in the heavyweight division and nobody has heard about you. I mean, yeah, maybe I saw his name one time, but never thought about him, know. And no disrespect to the dude, but it pretty much shows why nobody had heard about it. Us two didn't heard about him.
Yeah, so, no doubt. Now, here's another upset. Kazimierz Bastayev defeats Ty Gorder. So there was some controversy here. A lot of people thought it was a 10-8 round, I think, in the first round. Could have been a draw. Ends up being a unanimous decision for Bastayev. And I don't know if you saw his post-fight interview, Marcel, or his comments. He said, I can't remember what happened in the fight because it just happened. But, I don't think I won the fight. He's like, I think it was a draw at best. He's like, I don't think I won the fight. So the guy, Bastayev, is saying he didn't think he won the fight. A lot of people had Gorder in their parlays. They lost. They're pissed about this. What do you think?
I think I had Gorder winning this one. I don't know exactly which rounds I had for him. Yeah, 29-28, I think.
But, sorry. I thought you meant for your prediction. Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, also when I watched the fight. So, very honest of Bastayev, I think. But, I mean, for Gorder, it sucks, man. That's 3 losses now.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Look at these comments. Jamie says the situation is weird. Guess Thoughts versus Archuleta. That's a good fight too. That would be a fun fight. But I'm with Marcel. I think when you're at that point in your career where you can get a title shot, you can ask for one, and he clearly can because he's 17-1. You guys are really good. He should have asked for
it. He beat the guy who everybody, 90% of the people thought was going to be bantamweight champion.
And I thought that had Magomedov, had he won this fight, he'd fight Pettis. I thought he would have won that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
I thought that was a very good matchup for him, right?
I honestly think these two could have been for a title. You know what I mean? This is a title-worthy matchup. But you have Pettis there, who is absolutely a great fighter. But listen, man, Pettis Magomedov, Pettis Stots. I favor both Stots and Magomedov over Pettis, man. To be honest, but hey, that's me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right, let me get these comments. Bellator gets his 15 wins or so. They're all Gladiator Challenge guys, man. He's like, if Bellator can get Pitbull dropped to 135 and bring in Horiguchi. Yeah, I mean, I think that even without those guys, I think it'd be a good solid tournament. But if you bring in Horiguchi back to Bellator, former champion, very respectful guy, dropped his belt knowing he was injured. I mean, I don't remember any time someone's ever did that. Cain Velasquez, I want to say, sat out for like 3 years with his belt. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, that guy, he's a respectful guy, but I'd like to see him back in Bellator. And then, obviously, Pitbull, he looked really small against AJ McKee. He looked really small in that fight. Having said that, AJ's probably more of a lightweight than a featherweight, so I still feel like he's going to fight him at lightweight next for the other belt. That's what I think is going to happen, but I would love to see Pitbull at 135 because I think at this point, he's kind of like Aldo. Like, he's the best. He's amazing. He's a legend, a Hall of Famer, and he's did so much, but he can even drop down and do some more damage. You know what I mean? It's crazy, right? He's like the Bellator version of Aldo.
Did you, by the way, saw that interview with Mike Heck with Brent Primus before his last fight, and he was asking like Brent Primus, who do you think I want to win, McKee or Pitbull? And he's like, yeah, I hope McKee. He's very good, this and that. And then Mike Heck is like, yeah, if McKee said if he wins, he wants to challenge Pitbull for the lightweight title. And then Primus said, what do you say? He wants to challenge him for the lightweight title. He said, fuck McKee, I want Pitbull to win now.
That's actually really funny. That's funny. Yeah. All those solid comp. I'm actually thinking it actually is. It's just the first time it's ever came into my mind, but I feel like it kind of is in a way. Bellator did sign Enrique Marzola. That is a good sign. I did see that. That guy, another guy that I don't know why the UFC cut it. Like, he's decent. He's not great, but he's decent. Why, contract dispute or what?
No, because I think he's boring, but he's good.
Well, a lot of his fight, I think the Yaya fight was pretty boring, if I want it, right?
But he's good. He's solid. He beats many guys who are still.
No, he's not bad. Another guy, Brandon Davis, he won on the weekend too. He wants another shot. He really should get another shot. He has the win over Randy Costa and some other guys, right? So he's not bad. He should probably be back in the UFC too. Just a couple other fights in the prelims, and we'll talk about PFL after. Pam Sorensen defeats Roberta Samad, split decision. Jeffrey Gloucester defeats Sebastian Ruiz, and John McNeil defeats Orlando Mendoza. Any thoughts on these fights at all?
I haven't even seen them, to be really honest.
There you go. So one thing I'd say is Pam Sorensen had like a lot of hype coming in here, I guess. I mean, hype. She's 35 years old, but featherweight division's very, very weak in women's MMA, and she is a former Invicta champion. So, I mean, she's got to win over Martinez. She's got to win over Jessica Rose-Clark, Caitlin Young. I mean, she has some decent wins on her resume. I would assume. Would she be next? Do you think she's going to be next for Cyborg?
No, probably Zingano, man.
Zingano, yes, that's right. I heard Julia Budd's a free agent. I don't know if you heard
I heard it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they released Julia Budd. They could re-sign her. I don't think they will. Her last fight she should not have won that fight against Diana Silva. She definitely lost that fight. Somehow won a split decision. She's on the decline. She's at age 38 years old. She was good, but that Cyborg fight, I think, really hurt her, Marcel. She took so much damage in that fight.
If the UFC wants to keep that horrible 145 division going in the women's, sign her and make her fight Nunes, if you want.
Well, you could do that, but I mean, you could also do like Norma Dumont. You could do Felicia Spencer. Like, those girls need opponents. There's not many good featherweights. She is technically coming off of
I don't understand it, man. That when did they introduce that weight class? There is still no ranking about it. There is still no division at all. There are some loose fighters on there who fight now and then, and sometimes they make 135 because they can't fight a fight at 145. That just doesn't make sense, man. At the atomweight division, you at least have something. But the UFC probably is how do you say that? Is afraid that a lot of 115 top girls going to 105, and then it will how do you say that? Kind of decrease the 115 division and that kind of stuff. It's like, listen, let's be really honest. Before I get all those feminists after me, but I'm really honest here. Nobody wants to see that 145 division in the women's in the UFC. And there's no disrespect to those girls. I really like them. You got to do what you got to do, but nobody really wants to see that, man. It's just not competitive. There is no division at all. I mean.
No, I'm with you, Marcelo. You're not wrong, and I think most people agree with you. The only good thing about the division is like it just gives basically an extra belt to put on pay-per-views. It's more like a UFC promotional tool, if anything. It's not really a real division. Anyways, I think that's enough about Bellator. Let's move on to PFL now. PFL 7. So yeah, I'm not gonna say I didn't see this coming. I guess like we did both pick Rory, but I thought it'd be a competitive fight. I didn't expect a white belt though by Ray Cooper 3. He won 30-27 all the cards. Complete wipeout, Marcel. I thought it'd be a close fight, man. I really didn't, and I thought Rory edged it out. I was wrong about this one, man. Ray Cooper 3 is legit. I've always thought that the guy's very good, but Rory, lost 3 or 4 now. should have beat T-Bell, fair enough. But he has been losing to the top guys. Let's keep that in mind, guys. Lost to Ray Cooper was very good. T-Bell, he shouldn't have lost the fight. Douglas Lima was very good. Mousasi's good. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's losing the scrubs. But at the same time, Marcel, I still think back to that John Fitch fight where he said, like, I didn't want to hurt the guy. He's like, I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't feel like hurting him. Like, you can't have that mentality in the sport. You know, like, this is a sport where you have to go in there and hurt people to do your job. And if you can't think like that, and since that fight, he hasn't finished he finished Millender, but he just took him down right away. He didn't want to punch him or anything. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Give me your thoughts on Rory. I mean, he's a legend in Canada. I love the guy, but he's just not the same guy anymore, man. What do you think?
I mean, Ray Cooper out-wrestled him, and I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? So
I know. Same.
It's like, that was actually, in my opinion, the way Rory could win this fight. You know, and Ray Cooper actually defeated him the way I expected Rory to win the fight. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. And to be honest, what to think about Rory MacDonald, man. I think he's a great fighter, but he can't find that switch anymore for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, we gotta respect Ray Cooper, man. It's the third time in a row he's in the finals. You know, he lost the first time against Magomed Kerimov. The last time he won, but Magomed Kerimov wasn't in the finals back then because he was ill or whatever, and now he's fighting Magomed Kerimov again. So it's gonna be a fun final, man. I'm really looking forward to that one. But for Rory, yeah, I don't know. Listen, man, it looks really bad on his record as well now because he lost to Tebow last time, but that's a fight he absolutely won. So it's just.
You know what's crazy? So I'm looking at Ray Cooper's record. He has 4 upset wins now in Bellator, not Bellator, PFL. 2 upset wins, 3 upset wins. 1 over Jake Shields, and then 2 this season against MacDonald and Alex Akin. He was an underdog in both those fights. So this guy is really not getting enough respect, I think, in general. Now, against MacDonald, I definitely see why he was the underdog, but against Alex Akin, he was I'm looking at the odds now, like plus 180 odds on that last fight. That's bizarre. So he's good, but he's had some hiccups too. I still remember that fight with John Howard. That was really bizarre. He got KO'd by basically the corpse of John Howard. So I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. How good is Ray Cooper? Is he a top 15 guy in the world, do you think? Or is he below that? Like, I really don't know, like, how good he is. I think he's really good, but I'm not sure.
I think he is a good fighter who has very... how do you say that? Top fighter moments in his fight, but
high ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
But a low floor too. Yeah. I think Magomed Kerimov, and we'll talk about him now. You know, I don't know if the odds are out yet, but I would imagine he's going to be favored because he did beat Ray Cooper. He beat Saudi WC in the other semifinal. They fought 2 years ago, obviously 3 years ago in the first season in the finals. They were supposed to fight, I think, again in the second season, I want to say, and Magomed Kerimov got sick or something. Like, he'd had a bad weight cut or something happened. Like, he fought twice. The same man got sick. He couldn't fight, and then Cooper, I think, maybe took his spot. I can't remember exactly, but I think they were supposed to fight again. So they're going to fight again now. I think Magomed Kerimov will be favored, but go ahead.
He fought Chris Curtis at the, how do you say that? He fought Chris Curtis at the regular season, and then after that he fought him as well in the quarterfinals. That was it, and instead of Magomed Kerimov. So
do you think Magomed Kerimov wins against Ray Cooper? Like, do you think he'll be favored, I should say? Not wins, but favored against Ray Cooper?
Yeah, both. Yeah. Wins
and
so favorite. Too. Sorry, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I got to think about the fight more, but I think he's good, but Magomed Kerimov is really good. Jamie says he's had his eyes on the rematch ever since the roster got announced. Yeah, you know, I still think that I thought Rory would probably make it to the finals. I did think so, but I'm not surprised this is the finals because these guys are both awesome. With this Bellator 135 Grand Prix be their second one in recent memory. They did one at 145, 170, 80, and heavyweight or light heavyweight.
205,
right?
Yeah, 205.
But they haven't. Yeah,
205 heavyweight, 205 heavyweight, and 145.
Yeah, and 172.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But they haven't done 135. They also talked about a women's 125, I want to say, a little while ago. Mm-hmm. Scott Coker likes his tournaments. I mean, they're okay, but I like one-night tournaments. They're really interesting. They don't do them in PFL anymore, but they were kind of cool a few years ago. I think they were pretty cool. I like the tournaments, don't get me wrong, but because they're so spread out, you know, COVID could happen, and then the tournaments are 2 or 3 years long. That's the problem, right? Curtis lost to Mago and Cooper the same night. Chris, you know what's crazy about Chris Curtis? He's still fighting, and you know, I do cover regional MMA for Expectation Sports, and I keep seeing his name out there because he keeps fighting, man. Like he just won against he's on a 5-fight win streak. He just beat Kenny Robertson recently. So, and he beat Jerome Hatch, the guy just covered, and also Kyle Stewart, who just won his fight. So Chris Cooper is a guy that got completely screwed by the UFC, I think.
Curtis.
Completely screwed. He had an amazing win on the Contender Series, and Dana White said, "You're too old." Like, fuck off. Are you kidding me? He was only 30 years old at the time. And why did they bring him on the show if they weren't going to give him a contract? And he got an amazing knockout. Remember, it was like a spinning hook kick. Remember that one? So I don't know what you thought, but I thought that was one of the stupidest moves they made on Contender Series.
It was actually the best performance of the night as well. It was
unreal that they didn't bring him in. Unbelievable, just because he's too old. That's just that's garbage. Again, I understand he lost twice to Magomed Karabov and to Ray Cooper, but a lot of guys will lose to those guys. He's actually 7-3 since leaving, and those are the only 2 guys he's lost to. What are you gonna
say? They pretty much say like you're too old, so they actually wanted the other guy to win. That's want.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a terrible reason not to sign someone. Like, if this is a real company, Marcel, like I'm pretty sure you could go to like a lawyer and be like, hey, that's like discrimination based on age. I don't know, man. Anyways, it's a private company. All right, let's go to the lightweight division. Raush Manfio both called this one, Marcel, against Clay Collard. We both said he was going to win the fight. Now, some controversy because a lot of people thought Collard won. To me, it's just one of those close fights that honestly could have gone either way. So I'm not surprised, I guess. What do you think, man?
I think Collard won, but we both picked Manfio, I think. Yeah, what else can you say? It was a close fight, and it sucks for Collard, man. It really sucks, but maybe he can be an alternate, whatever.
You never know. So maybe someone one of these guys get hurt. You never know.
By the way, did you know that the final was in October, man? I did.
I noticed that recently because I was looking ahead for their schedule because they usually did it in December on New Year's, right? They moved it up this year. I'm not sure if that's permanent, just because of the COVID, they switched things around. I'm not sure, but who knows? But I did notice that too. So it's in October, so they have 2 months of training. That's okay. The other lightweight semifinal, Lloyd Radzibov defeats Alexander Martinez. That was the rematch, and he obviously showed that the first fight kind of, I don't know if it was a fluke per se, but it obviously wasn't. I think Lloyd's the better fighter. I think he proved that, right? Would you say?
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah, the first fight was close, and this fight wasn't. Go to the. Oh yeah, sorry, I was going to ask Manfio Radzibov. Now, who do you think will be favored? I'm guessing Radzibov because Manfio's been an underdog in all the fights, so I think Radzibov will be favored. But I would not count on Manfio from this fight. I think he can win this fight. What do you think? Not sure.
It's close, man. It's honestly close.
Yeah. It is close. And I actually think this guy's a really good story. Like, one of the Brazilian elders, I can't remember which one, did a story with him, and he talked about how, like, before he came to PFL, he's been working in an office at night, cleaning offices at night. Like, that's his job, right? So, $1 million, I mean, for anyone, including myself and you, would be amazing. But, for a guy like this who's obviously training his ass off and then having to work a second job like a lot of fighters are, which is just still blows my mind. The best fighters in the world have to work second jobs a lot of times. It's nuts. The guy, I think, would be a great story if he won, but I don't know if he'll win. It's going to be a close fight, I think. And it's 5 rounds too, right? So that makes it interesting. Let's go to the prelims. Glacier Teemo got another opponent. There was a switch up at the last minute. And honestly, PFL did such a bad job of announcing this. Like, the announcement came at like the last second, basically on I want to say it was on Friday when people started noticing, hey, he's not, or on Thursday during the weigh-ins. It wasn't like even before that. So anyways, Glacier Teemo defeats Micah Terrell. I mean, I don't think there's any surprise. Micah Terrell's not that good, and Glacier Teemo's still a strong dude. So he'll be in the next tournament, I would imagine, Marcel.
Yeah, I think so too. Got to be honest, man. The prelims, I haven't been able to watch.
No, that's fine. We're just gonna, you know what? That's fair.
I only saw the finishes. So.
Yeah. We'll just go through them really quick. Let me get this comment. T-Bell was plus 250 in the finish opponent, who has 100% finish rate and lost his hammer. Nice job, man. Jamie, Manfield's decisions have all been splits. I think they've been really close. Actually, no, this was unanimous, actually, but a lot of people thought it should have been obviously the other way. But yeah, he's involved in some super close fights, like the Luderbach fight, Marcel's favorite fighter, Joelton Luderbach. Or what's his actual? What was his other name? Santos. Yeah, they changed his name. Just the other prelims here. OAM defeats Daryl Horcher. I mean, no surprise there. Daryl Horcher's really. I've never thought he was that good, honestly. And then he also missed weight. Brett Cooper knocked out Tyler Hill. That was a good matchup for Brett Cooper, who's a pretty good. Like I said, I think he's an underrated fighter. I think he always has been. I like Brett Cooper. And he's at 170 now, which is cool. Magomed Umalatov defeats Leandro Silva, the former UFC fighter, via decision. Marcel, I think he took it on short notice, if I'm not mistaken. And then Michael Lombardo. Oh, this was nice. Nasty calf kicks. This was nice. Now, the fight should have been stopped as soon as this dude screamed. The fight was over. He turned. The referee let it kick him again. He's like, ah! That was brutal. Those are some nasty kicks. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen that one, go back and look at that finish. And if I'm not mistaken, Michael Lombardo, I want to say Dana White called him really boring on Contender Series. Right? He's like, you're boring. We're not going to bring you in, right?
He actually fought twice in Contender Series.
Twice.
He fought Cal Dawkins and he fought Corey Coupe. Okay.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, that guy who was really not that good, but he had 12 minutes and 57 seconds of ground control time in top control. That's insane. Like, I want to say the guy's that exciting, but he proved that he's not a boring fighter with this performance, man. And again, Dana White basing a guy just off one fight. I mean, that's Contender Series. He's an audition. I get it, but clearly this guy, he was pissed when he didn't get signed. Remember, Marcel? He was really pissed about it, but Dana White's like, oh, we're looking for finishers. Again, if you're looking for finishers, why are you bringing in wrestlers then? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's two different things. I'll get your question one sec, Jose. The last fight was Elvin Espinoza against Hopton Stewart. Defeats him via submission in the first round. I want to say, who was the favorite in that fight? Elvin, I believe, was. Yeah, he was. All right, let's get this. That's it for PFL. Let's talk about some fights. Jose's asking, let's talk about some fights, Jose. We got the time. Let's go to Marcel's page. Marcel's Instagram. We'll talk about a few different fights. Let me see. Okay, we got like 7 or 8 fights to talk about, so that's cool. Talk about it for a couple minutes. Let's pull it up here. Here we go. So this has to be the dumbest rematch, and you're like, why are they doing this fight again? When Cole sent this to me today, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, why? We all saw the first fight happen, a couple months ago?
Yeah.
Mason Jones was on his way to probably a performance of the night bonus. He was absolutely destroying Alan Patrick. I can't remember. I think it was an eye poke, right? He took the easy way out.
Yeah, eye poke.
Yeah. Now, to be fair to the guy, he said he had a serious eye problem after he could not see. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But even still, that fight was not going to go any differently. Mason Jones was destroying. Give me your thoughts.
Unless Mason Jones specifically asked for this fight again, it doesn't make sense unless he asks for this one again, to make it right. But still, he destroyed Patrick in that fight, man. Even before it could have been even stopped at a certain moment, and it didn't. And then they stopped the fight with eye poke, and Patrick didn't want to go any more further. You can question it, I did question it. I don't like to. I always like to give the fighter the benefit of the doubt, but. Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't really look like. Let's keep him, give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is a fight we didn't have to see again, to be really honest.
Yeah, the fight took place on June 5th, and Mason Jones closes a -300 favorite, so he'll be a much bigger favorite here, guys. He's going to probably be like, I don't know. I think he could be like up to 10-1 in this fight. Honestly, I cap him about a -1,000 favorite. Like, how does Patrick win this fight other than what someone said in the comments? If Jones gets injured or disqualified, maybe. I can't see him losing this fight, man. This is I don't like giving my picks before, guys, but we already did this fight 2 months ago, and nothing's changed. That's my exact reaction. There you go. Now we need Fili Pineda too. Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. That one, yeah, but I don't think we can see that either, actually. All right, Zubair Tukhugov and Ricardo Ramos. What do you think of this one, man?
Yeah, it's also that fight was supposed to take place earlier this year or late last year, but Tukhugov pulled out and Ramos fought Algio. Yeah, I like the fight, man. It's a good fight. It's on the Abu Dhabi card where almost every guy from Khabib is on the card. So, it's a good fight, I think. Both guys fought against Lerone Murphy. Ramos lost pretty convincingly, and Tukhugov got a draw. I still think Tukhugov should have won the fight, but okay, it was a draw, and I don't mind it for Murphy. I think Murphy's a great prospect too. Fun matchup, I think, man. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think both guys are really fun to watch all the time, so it should be a good one, I gguess.
Now look at it, Tukhugov's record. I mean, he hasn't fought Tukhugov, his record. He hasn't fought in a while, right? Been a year now. He's had a lot of breaks in between. Obviously, he got suspended after the the UFC 228 or 229 with Conor and Khabib. Now, 4 of his 7 fights have gone to split decision in the UFC. That's not good. You know what I mean? That's not good. So you want a guy that's a little bit being guys more convincingly. He's definitely solid. He could win this fight. I thought Ramos looked really good though against Algio. So This would be an interesting one. It's going to be a close fight.
He screwed himself against Dawodu, man. I think he had 2 rounds in the bag, and the 3rd round he didn't do anything, and
he just took it for granted. He got both the rounds in the bag, and the judges thought otherwise. All right, so here's the fight you alluded to earlier. Matt Sellsberg taking on Martin Sino. So Martin Sino is a former Bellator fighter. He's also a Nick Diaz Academy product. He's good friends with Nick. I'm assuming as part of the deal to bring in Nick back to the UFC, he's like, you're going to put this guy on the card. You're also going to put Nick Maximov. He's also on the card. Who's he fighting again? Nick Maximov? Who's he fighting?
Carl Roberson.
Carl Roberson. Yeah, that's a tough fight. Now, this fight looks like a tough fight too. I mean, I know he's coming off a loss to Cass Williams, but against Jason Witt, punched him right in the face, knocked him out in 16 seconds or something. I mean, this guy hasn't fought in 4 years, Marcel. I would imagine, even though Semelsberger lost his last fight, he will be pretty heavily favored. Although I just caution everyone, like, at least, let's do the tape starting on this guy. Let's just make sure he doesn't have anything we're hiding, because you look at his record, it's nothing special, and he hasn't fought in forever. He's coming off 3 fights where he didn't win, right? So it's just bizarre. I've never seen a guy come in the UFC with this kind of. Are they missing a fight on Tapology? That's the only thing I'm thinking. Did he have a fight recently that we don't know about? Is that what happened, maybe?
I don't think so, man, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we got 4-2-1 record. He hasn't fought since 2017, Marcel. You don't like the matchup at all, huh?
It's almost like Chris Avila, man, with Nate Diaz. I mean, listen, Semelsberger also showed in his UFC performances his debut against the guy's name again from Alaska.
I gotta check again. It's Carlton Minus.
Yeah, Carlton Minus, yeah. He was very good in that fight. Then he knocked out Jason Witt. And the Chaos Williams fight was a really good fight, man. Chaos deservingly won, but it was a good fight. And now they're giving him Sino, or Sino, I don't even know how to say. I don't know, man. He has one good win on his records against Jeff Neal, and that's years ago. And that's a submission win over Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird to me, man, that they pass up so many fighters, and then they sign somebody who is friends with the other guy because they have the right connection and contacts. And you have guys on the Contender Series who are like 18-0 or 17-2 and that kind of stuff. Just weird to me, And I just don't like that,
Like Michael Lombardo.
and you don't give Kai Kamaka a renewed contract,
we should talk about that too. I want to talk about that in a second. And Jose, we're going to get to it next. You want to talk about the Aspinall fight? It's just on the list. It's on the list here. Anyways, we'll go to the next fight here. This fight we'll talk about this one tomorrow. And this one, I can't remember if we did talk about this one or not. I can't remember, but
last week we talked a little bit about it. That would make the most sense. Yeah.
Okay, so that's right. So, anyways, I like the fight. I love this fight.
Me too.
It's a fun fight, right? It's a fun one.
It's also a deserved opportunity, in my opinion, for D-Rod.
He's been putting in the work and looking great. I think the guy is. I think he's good, but the odds came out, and I think Kevin Lee is the favorite. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure he is, though. Kevin Lee's minus 145 right now. So he is the favorite based on the wrestling, I would assume. But, D-Rod's got some good grappling too, man. He's not a bomb on the ground, guys. He really is good on the ground, and he's got great striking. So, interesting fight, man. I'm definitely looking forward to this one, and I don't really have a pick yet. It's next.
Adam, when do you think Daniel Rodriguez was born without looking in his info?
1986.
Yeah, good guess.
The last time he was fighting, I joked to my fiance. I'm like, just in case he forgets what year he's born, you can just look down on his chest. And also, you can forget. You'll remember where he's born too. He's from LA. No, I'm a big fan of the guy. I think he's awesome. He's good. One of those guys, man. He's been in jail many times. He's talked about this. He's been in a lot of fights in jail. The dude is tough as hell. Trains with Joe Schilling and those guys. Alex Hernandez and Leo Santos. Another good fight. It's an interesting one. Leo Santos is 41 now, I want to say. Yeah, 41 years old. But against Dwight, or against, what's his name, the last fight? Why am I forgetting his name? Grant Dawson, sorry. Yeah, I just couldn't get his name off the top of my head. He looked good in that fight, man. It was a close fight. He got KO with 1 second left in the round, but it was a super, super close fight. This guy is not a scrub, even though he's 41. Hernandez is very inconsistent, so not sure what you're thinking, Marcel, but I honestly don't know. What do you think?
Listen, man, Hernandez sometimes fights well and sometimes not. And I still think, man, I said it to you from the beginning, that Dariush knockout, I still think it's a fluke, man. And it doesn't, no disrespect to Hernandez, but I really feel that way. Santos, it's such a tough fight because, like you said, Hernandez very inconsistent. Luis Santos, very solid fighter, but 41 already. So
I still remember when
I
he
don't
beat
know.
Kevin Lee. That was a big surprise back in. It was like 5 years ago now. Crazy.
Long time ago.
Here's the fight that Jose's been waiting for. Sorry, Jose. Here we go, buddy. No way, man. Martinez is out. Damn it. Well, I definitely liked Trevin Jones in that fight. Although I like Martinez too. He's a really good prospect. I actually did the tape study before earlier this afternoon on Man Martinez. I only saw the fight contender series, so I was watching the Fury FC fights. Guy could punch, man, but that was a tough fight against Trevin Jones. You get screwed again, apparently. Another opponent changed. Wow. Might even stay in the card. Anyways, this fight's good. When I saw this one, I also like this one. Tom Aspinall against Sergey Pavlovich. Jose, I'm pretty sure you ask us all the time. Like every week you ask us about both these guys, and now they're fighting each other. So, I mean, listen, I understand some people don't like prospect matchups, but I like the fight, Marcel. It's a fun fight. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a very fun fight. I think it's pretty much. Listen, Pavlov. It's weird for me to call Pavlovich a prospect, but I still think he is in the UFC. There's a fight between two prospects, in my opinion. One guy from England, one guy from Russia. Aspinall has looked phenomenal so far in the UFC, I think. But this is, in my opinion, a real tough test. This one, man. This is still also a young guy. Has looked good besides his debut against Overeem. He has looked solid in the UFC as well. So
Yep.
For me, this is a close fight, man. I'm not. Many people are like, the Aspinall will be heavy favorite. I don't know, man. If you want to be heavy favorite,
I don't think you completely count out Sergey. First off, it's a heavyweight fight, so there's more variance in heavyweight. And second off, he's still young too. Like you said, he's 29. Aspinall's 28. They're both good prospects, but I'm higher on Aspinall for sure. But I don't think you got count out Pavlovich. But what I like about Aspinall is he also has that ground game. When he submitted Orlovsky, I was like, damn. I mean, this guy can beat you on the ground and standing. That is good. Last one here, Jonathan Martinez against Marcelo Rojo. I like this fight. Pitbull, Rojo, and the Dragon. It's a fun one, Marcel. This is another fun one at bantamweight. I don't know who's good. I honestly don't even know who'd be favored here because Martinez gets destroyed by Davey Grant, and then Rojo had a really good fight against Jordan, gets KO'd in the last couple seconds. I don't know who's. I guess Martinez would be favored, but I think Rojo can win this fight. Any thoughts on this one before we move on?
Yeah, difficult, man. I really like Rojo, man. He's a very fun fighter, I think. And Martinez, man, I still also think he's a very good fighter as well, man. But his last fight against was it against Davey Grant? It was against Davey Grant, right?
Yeah, Davey Grant, and he dropped Davey Grant in the first round, and the second round, Davey Grant knocked him out some brutal. I want to say it was like a weird combination that from the other stance. It was really crazy and just really finished the guy. I think the guy's cardio looked like a little suspect, but he's still a good fighter, though, Marcel. So I don't know. He's still young, right? Anyways, I want to answer Jose's question. Sorry, Jose. I just saw this. He said, thoughts on Gane being a minus 130 favorite. What does it mean? So basically what that means is Gane is slightly favored to win the fight. I think that's like, 53% or something like that. So he's like slightly favored over Francis Ngannou. That's a super close fight too. I mean, obviously Francis can punch him and knock him out, but Gane is the better overall fighter probably. So it's an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to talking about that with you, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow too, Marcel. I think it's going to be a fun fight fun card to break down. Actually, I know there's not a lot of like huge names on this card, guys, but I do think it's a pretty fun fight. I'm reading the news right now. My boy Nolan Kane broke the news. And yes, Manny Martinez is off the card. So that sucks because again, I actually did watch the footage of him today. He has some fights on Fight Pass. The guy can punch, man. He's a really big. You like him, Marcelo? Manny Martinez?
Yeah, for sure. That was my pick for fight of the night, man.
Yeah,
so that sucks.
I know. I'm such a big fan of Trevin Jones. This is like the fourth or fifth opponent change he's had now. Maybe they can find someone. I don't know. They might not be able to find someone on such short notice. You'd hope that there's someone in Vegas that wants to jump at that opportunity, right, Marcel? On short notice, you'd hope there's someone there, but so they do have 6 days to get someone in there, or 5 days, or whatever. It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. But hopefully they don't test positive for coke like that guy Juan Camilo Ronderos. He filled it up. Remember, 124 hours notice, and he's suspended for cocaine. That's pretty funny. All right, let's do some news, and we'll get out of here probably a little bit earlier today. But let's get some news quickly. All right. Now, let me pull this up here. I'll pull up BJ Penn. Did some articles today you guys will be interested in. So this is pretty fucked. And you wanted to talk about this earlier. Kai Kamaka 3 got cut,
Mhm.
and also Justin James got cut.
Okay.
Did you see this? Justin James got cut.
No, I didn't know about Justin James. No,
He got
I didn't
cut on his
know.
birthday. His birthday, he got cut, which is just
Wow.
evil. It's just evil. I mean, why would you do
Yeah.
that? Like, it doesn't make sense because he had to fight on June 26th. Why would you wait until August 10th on the guy's 32nd birthday to tell him he's cut? Like, why, unless you're just a jerk, you know, I guess the UFC didn't know, or Sean Shelby or whatever, but you see with Eric Nixon, he's pissed, obviously.
Mhm.
Basically, his point was, if you look at Justin James, he went 1-4. Obviously, you lose 4 straight, you're not getting another shot. I get why he got cut. But again, my point is, why wait 2 months to cut him on his birthday when you could have cut him in June after the fight? Now, you look at what he said, Eric Nixon, he said this guy's fought 4 of his fights, Marcel, were on short notice. Kai Kamaka, 3 of the 4 fights were on short notice, went 1-2 and 1 got cut. Just because you're doing the company a favor doesn't mean they'll come full circle when it comes to renegotiation. I mean, obviously, Eric's pissed. He's the head coach. I'm assuming he probably is their manager or something. Maybe I don't know if he's their manager, but he obviously helps get them fights. This is.
I think
I'm not saying
he's
they're
a coach.
Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on this. Both the cuts.
He's a coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, let's start with Kamaka. Complete bullshit. You know, first fight he fought against what was the fight of the night? Was the first fight of the card? I forgot.
Tony Kelly last year at
Tony
UFC
Kelly, yeah.
52. Miocic
Yeah.
and Cormier. It was a great fight.
I mean, if you get on a pay-per-view card, you get the fight of the night as the first prelim. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Second fight, he lost to Jonathan Pierce, which was a short notice fight. Then he fought with the guy again, TJ Brown, which was a short notice fight. He lost, but in my opinion, he won the fight. Then he fought against Danny Chavez, which was a short notice fight. He got a draw, and then he got cut. How does it make sense?
Yeah.
So I was really upset about that. People are saying like, yeah, he never finishes fights. He's boring. I was like, listen, guys, if you look only at results, then you can say he's boring. But if you actually watch his fights, you can't say he's boring.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just bullshit.
Yeah, and Eric's point is the short notice too. Like, he took 3 of the 4 fights on short notice and still got cut. So, give me your thoughts on Justin James.
Yeah, Justin James. Listen, man, I'm not surprised by the cut, you know. But if you look at what Eric, I'm going to retweet that, by the way. Fights Camacho on 2 days' notice.
Oh no, you should just retweet my article at BJ. We'll get me some more clicks. You should do that for me.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There you go, baby. There you go. We got it at BJ. So I think it got posted at 3:55. We'll get your readers to read my stuff. That'd be perfect. Thanks, Marcel.
Okay, I will retweet that.
Perfect, thanks. Yeah, it basically says he got cut on his birthday, which is what happened. Which is just, again, it just seems evil because why wait until the guy's birthday? Why? Like, what's the benefit, Marcel? Tell me. What's the benefit?
I don't know. Maybe show what they can do to you, whatever.
I want to say this too. I can't say much because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I did hear that there was something that was going to come out about Sean Shelby, and I don't. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this?
No, but I really want to know now.
Just something about both certain fighters, why they got signed, including Daniel Wolf. I don't know when this is going to break, but I was tipped off that the story might be coming out soon. So I'm actually interested because I don't really know what they're going to say, but very interesting. They got this comment from Wright. Still boring. Sorry, guys. Talking about Kamaka. I mean, he's not the most exciting guy, but he's not. I don't think he's super boring. I will say though, the last fight, I think it was a bad look to basically get that point taken. They didn't like it. So,
by the way, about how do you say that? Don't you always see about the fights being made that the women fights are always quicker announced for newer cards than the men's fights? And you know the women fights are done by Mick Maynard. Mick Maynard has also 2 other divisions, I think. But the Shelby divisions are always very slow for some reason, you know. And I know a lot of fighters are telling me like, I'm waiting for fight, but there is nothing. He doesn't come up with anything. My manager has called many times, but I don't get anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. And I also hear from, I'm not gonna say any name, from certain fighters that they really like Maynard, but they don't like Shelby. So yeah, I don't know.
No, fair enough. All right, let's get back to. We get to a question. Sorry. I don't know. I just got tipped off about it. I'm not sure. Probably one of the bigger websites, I'd imagine, or maybe Bloody Elbow. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. We'll have to wait and see, Jose. I wish I had more information. I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. I wouldn't. I'd love to tell you guys if I knew more. All I heard is that there was supposed to be some story coming out in the next week or so. So we'll see what happens. Justin Tafa and Michael Johnson still with the UFC. I'm not sure. I mean, I'd imagine they are, but they could have been cut. I like Tafa, though. He's an exciting guy. Jamie, I did see the Stevie Ray thing. My buddy Cole Sheldon actually wrote the story. So what happened with Stevie Ray, I can pull it up here, actually. We'll read the story. So He actually followed me on Twitter today. He's making a comeback. He's a good fighter, man. He actually had some really good fights in the UFC. He actually won his last fight against Michael Johnson and then got released because, according to him, look at this, the shady tactics of the UFC. Did you read this story, Marcel? Did you see this one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so no, it's okay, no worries. So Stevie messaged us at BJ and said, "Hey guys, I want to talk to you guys because I want to tell my story." So Cole's like, "All right, we'll do the interview." And basically, what he said was, it was when the UFC decided to release me. It was a weird situation. I won in Singapore against Michael Johnson. And I signed a new 4-fight deal. I got matched up with Mark D. Casey. Unfortunately, I have to pull for the first time in career due to a knee injury. I had the same injury as Johnson, but it was much worse. My manager at the time, Ali Abdelaziz, phoned me and said, "Stevie, how do you feel about signing with another promotion if I can get you more money?" I told him it depends on how much more money. Obviously, I want to stay in the UFC, but if it's a lot of money, that changes things. I thought it was strange phone call from Ali as I just re-signed with the UFC and won the biggest fight in my career. He basically then just said the UFC knows they have a knee injury. They want to get rid of you. I'd heard they want to get rid of you before the Johnson fight. They wanted me to lose so they could cut me, which is why they gave me that fight. Of course, I managed to win. And after I won, they didn't want to re-sign me right away. It was starting to get expensive. I made 40 and 40 against Johnson plus 10K for Reebok, so almost 100K a fight. That's pretty good money, man. Great money. After some time, I got the new contract. Then later on, I got another phone call by Ali. He said, "Look, we have to sign somewhere else. You're not going to waste a choice. Plan was to stay as a free agent, look at other options. But I thought UFC will say you're cutting me because of the knee problems. I was devastated. Before they released me, they wanted me to get my knee checked out. I went and did that, and I got a heads up that they never expected to get me a clearance. So that was an easy way to get rid of me. I see the doctor, he clears me to fight. Weeks go by, and I get to go fight against Mike Davis. I then got told to send them my visa details, which was strange and shady. As Ali and the UFC both knew, I didn't have a visa because I had legal issues when I was younger. So it takes me a while to get a visa. I had to turn the fight down. After that, I was released from the UFC. I was very depressed. I said, "Fuck it, I'm done with this." I was coming back off the biggest win of my career, and that's how it ended with the UFC. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. This is just, it's really, really shitty. I mean, the guy's not a bad fighter. He really wasn't, Marcel. He was decent. He had some good fights. I want to look at his record. By the way, so Cole also talked to him, and he's talking to Bellator and Brave CF right now, Stevie Ray. So he's going to make a comeback. He's only 31, which is crazy. Yeah. All right, Marcin Bandel, he beat Leandro Manfra, Mikhail Labut. Those aren't great, but Ross Pearson, he beat Joe Lozon, Michael Johnson. I mean, those are good wins. 7-4 record in the UFC, guys. I mean, 7-4. So that's not bad, Marcel. And again, beat Michael Johnson and then got released because of the injury. Any thoughts on this, Marcel?
What can you say? Are we really surprised with how the UFC handled these kind of things? I'm not anymore, And I mean, just annoys me all the time when you see how they go, how they handle certain fighters, And so some fighters can't do anything wrong with them, Some fighters just get it hard from the UFC all the time, making the UFC just favors certain people, and certain people they really don't care. They it's just a number to them. You know what I mean? It's just how did a disposable body or something? How did they say
that's
that
fair? Yeah. No, you're right. And then the last thing he says here was, Ali told me to message Sean Shelby, say I'm thankful for the opportunity. Look, I am thankful for the opportunity as much as I am frustrated and upset. I'm over it now. At the same time, I was depressed. I cried several times because it was the end of my career in the UFC, and it felt like I was forced out. There's nothing I could do. I do hope we can mend fences talk about because I would love to jump with the chance to fight for them again, but unfortunately, I don't think that will happen. So very unfortunate, very sad story, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's how can anyone read that and not feel bad for this guy? I mean, that's just terrible. You know what I mean? Why did Ali let the UFC do this to Stevie Ray? I'm not sure, Jose. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we just don't know about, and there's probably a lot more to this story as well. So, and your other question, McMahon in charge of all the women's division. Is he, Marcel, or is it split between the two?
I think it's just McMahon, the women's division.
Is it Mick is okay, fair enough. All right, let's go to. I mean, there's a few other things, like nothing crazy. Obviously, Connor's been going like crazy lately on Twitter. I don't know if you saw he had this whole Q&A thing, which was kind of cool, but he thinks he's going to get a title shot. That's not happening. I don't think. This is ridiculous. Scott Coker says AJ McKee's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but the guy's good. He's very good, but you can't say that. I don't think. Luque wants to be the backup. What do you think of that? He wants to be the backup for the Usman Covington. You think that's a good idea, or what do you think?
I don't think Edwards likes that, but if Edwards doesn't want to be,
I don't think Edwards does. I think he wants to fight. I don't think he wants to be a backup. Yeah. So I think Luque,
so then, no problem. You can do Luque.
Yeah, Luque has no problem getting in shape and staying ready. And again, he makes a very interesting matchup against anyone in that division because he's so well-rounded, right? Like he could beat you on the ground. And when we did break down that fight last week, we were talking about Chies's grappling, but Luque is also a good grappler, and he had the striking advantage. Looking back, it wasn't the best pick I ever made. That's the last thing I want to talk about. Tito Ortiz, he was talking about 195 pounds. So he's cutting to 195. He hasn't weighed that much or less, I guess, since 1995 or something. Like, it's been Marcel, 25 years. Like, I don't think he's going to make weight. What do you think?
Same. But why does it have to be a 195, man? Anderson walks around at 220 or 225. So, I mean, I don't really understand why it's 195.
Well, he agreed to it. He shouldn't have agreed to it if he didn't.
I know. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there. Yeah, for sure. He shouldn't have agreed to it.
He says he wants me down to 195. He fought 205 6 times in his career. He wants me down to 195 because it shows he's afraid of my power. People don't realize I'm a pretty decent puncher. I've gotten better over the last 6 years. I've gotten really good over the last 4 years. Now, I know a lot of people think this fight's a joke, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm going to watch this fight, Marcel, just because I think Anderson is going to put on a show. I think he's going to just light him up. I think Anderson is going to destroy Tito. What do you think?
Yeah, if I wouldn't watch it, I'd probably read it on Cole Shelton's Twitter page. So
there you go.
You know, listen, man, I like Silva, and I don't care what people think, but I always liked Ortiz as well. So I really I'm looking forward to this fight, man.
Now,
I would have preferred this in MMA 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the thing about Tito is, I actually have a ton of respect for him as a fighter. I think he is like a legend, and I think he gets a really bad rap because of his political views and stuff. And yeah, it's true. And by the way, I just see Ramazan Kurmagomedov fighting William Macario, UAE Warriors. So he was cut from the UFC. That's too bad. He was released, so that's too bad. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Tito. He's been around forever, guys. He literally fought at UFC 10 or something. I want to say. Let's pull it up. The guy's been around forever. You know, all his fights have come in UFC or Bellator, or his last couple fights were in different promotions. But I mean, the guy, look at this, Marcel. Started in '97 and. You know, for 15 years was fighting the best guys in the world. That's pretty impressive.
The last guy he fought, Alberto Del Rio.
This was a joke.
That's the guy who got knocked out by Krokop and Pride with that wrestling mask on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, I know, I remember. Of course, Dos Queiroz Jr. or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's it for today's show, guys. Marcel, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here, man.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, and of course MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
There you go. Okay. For me, Twitter at @MMADaMartin, podcast MMAOddsbreaker.com, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all those places. You guys can find the podcast. We'll have the podcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be breaking down the Castleton and Canyon card. Looking forward to talking about those fights with you, Marcel. Hopefully no more fights get scratched tonight. What else? Later this week, I'll have my breakdown DFS and my bets at Elite, Fantasy Elite Sports Betting. MMAOddsbreaker.com is going to have the opening odds for UFC, Bellator, and PFL. And I'm trying to think where else. BJPen.com, MiamiNews.com. So pretty busy week as usual, Marcel, but that's the way I like it, man. Have a great day, guys. We'll be back tomorrow.